No, AI isn't going to replace your job, but someone who knows how to use AI to save time and create content more effectively possibly could. All jokes aside, whether you love it or hate it, AI is here to stay, and it's made its way into the content creation space. Truthfully, there are things that I absolutely love about AI, and I'm so glad we're starting to introduce it into our content creation workflow, especially as small business owners who already struggle with time. But as a content strategist and a marketer who's been doing this for over a decade, there are certain things that I hate. And there are certain practices that I see small business owners doing that we can kind of shift the narrative here and shift how we are using these to make sure that we're using them properly and effectively. And while all of these AI tools, especially in the content creation space, are not created equally, believe me, I have tried so many. I actually want to recommend a couple of different tools for you guys that have helped me along the way. And at the end of this video, I'm spilling the tea on my absolute favorite, like literally my favorite AI tool that has really cut down my content creation process time, and it actually sounds like me and does a really good job. And before we dive into these tools, I want to let you know that I'm specifically using these tools to help me repurpose content, meaning I am always giving it some type of human input so that it gives me a better output. And the best results that you're gonna get from literally any of these tools is if you give it something that you've already created. For me, I love taking my YouTube transcripts from the video that I created and input that into the software to help me create more content. Rather than having an AI tool create something from scratch for me, that's kind of what we need to change here. So the first type of AI tool that I recommend that you give a try are actually the built-in AI tools for some of the software that you're already using. There are certain content creation tools that I currently use that have started to really integrate AI into how their tool works. For instance, my scheduling platform Later has a built-in AI caption writer. My video editing software has so many cool AI tools that I use on the daily to save me so much time. And even Canva has some really cool tools. Some of these I love, some of them I hate, but let's dive into them. So inside of Descript here, this is my preferred video editing tool. There are a ton of different AI tools built into this video editing tool. A lot of the things that I like to use is I'll ask AI to shorten the word gaps, meaning like anytime I take a pause or a breath, which happens a lot, and manually clipping those out used to take hours. I can literally click on shorten word gaps. I've already done it to this video, but I'll just show you. If it's anything over 0.3 seconds, shortens it to 0.2, and it would shorten all of it. This video specifically had like over 100 different word gaps. And can you imagine splicing and clipping that out? This alone is such a time saver. There's also so many different, you can edit for clarity, add chapters or markers, which again, I already kind of have. You can summarize this, suggest a title. One of my favorites is a YouTube description, and you can generate that all inside of this app. There are some good ones, there are some bad ones. You can definitely play around with this, just like with any AI tool. It's going to need a bit of playing around with it, but you can see right there, it literally just did it all for me based on what was in the video. A perfectly good YouTube description that I would want to edit and use when I post this. And there are actually even some AI tools that I like to use in Canva. So I really actually like some of their tools that will help you edit certain photos. We'll come and edit this photo here. The grab text one is really cool. If there's text in there, it'll allow you to kind of customize the text. So if you have a sign, like you took a picture of a sign, and allow you to kind of play around with the text, even though it's not technically grabbable. Magic Edit, there's all kinds of different things. I obviously love the background remover. That's one of my favorite tools. Lately, I've been playing around with the eraser, and this one kind of gets crazy because it acts like Photoshop sometimes. It will mess things up on occasion, especially if it's a larger item. But it does a pretty good job, and you don't have to worry about using like Photoshop or anything like that. And this is all, again, using AI. It's using it in a different way, but that removed it from there. So I personally like to use those. There are a ton of different AI writing tools inside of Canva with the Magic Write tool. Personally, I like to use this for fixing spelling. Some of these will get a little crazy. Let's do Magic Write, and we'll say, write out 5 tips for small business owners. Like, let's say I'm creating a listicle or something like that, and click generate. It does an okay job, and you could totally use some of this content and create a carousel or create a post or anything like that. So again, always use this with caution. Make sure the information's correct. Always add your own voice and your editing and things like that. So you can always just insert that right into the text and kind of adjust it. And then the last one that I want to show you here is actually inside of Later if you want help writing a caption. So this one is going to be promoting let's put paid workshop that helps small business owners create content fillers, content ideas for the whole year, something like that. And then the tone is very casual, and I would let it generate a caption for me. So again, like let's say I really, really like this one here, make it casual. And then I would just kind of continue refining this. Cool. Let's add this in there. And then I would continue formatting and adding my own language and things like that. But lean into software that you already have, tools that you're access, and just start to play around with AI. The second type of AI tool that I want to talk to you guys about is something I call upload it once, create it all. These style of tools effectively allow you to upload a long form piece of content. So something like a YouTube video, a podcast, a blog post, an article, or something like that. And then it will actually batch create a ton of other content for multiple different platforms that you want it to create for. And they're all AI generated based off of the input that you give it. I have tried a lot of different tools, and two of my favorites that I've used up until recently were Castmagic and Swell. And I'll quickly show you the behind the scenes of these tools. I personally use Castmagic. It has been my favorite over the last couple of months up until, which we'll dive into in just a bit, my super secret sauce. This is one that I used for a very, very long time. I really, really loved it because it allowed me the capability to upload an entire YouTube video transcript and it would generate all the content that I needed. Now, I was able to come in and customize these prompts. So these are all the different prompts that I created specifically for my content. So I had things to help me optimize my YouTube video, podcast title, all kinds of different things. But essentially what happens is you would come up, you would import an audio or video, and it does take a couple of minutes, but it would generate all of this for you. I'm not going to run through that because it'll make my computer crash more than likely, but this is just an example here. That basically here's the transcript of everything I did. And this is the part that I loved about this platform is it generated this automatically for me. There is a YouTube video description, podcast title and description, long form podcast show notes. There's so much content in here and it would do it automatically for me. And then all I would have to do is customize this. Now, this required quite a bit of tweaking, even though I had very specific prompts that I gave it and I customized it in this prompt section. I had to go in here, no matter how many times I told it not to use the word like delve, it would always use that word. So I found it kind of frustrating and limiting. There's also a chat section where I would go, you can go back and forth in a chat style, and they just introduced this studio section that'll help you generate visual content. This kind of is not good yet. They need to work on it a bit. I would just prefer to create stuff in Canva. It's like Canva-esque. But anyways, this is a really great tool. I had used it for a very, very long time. And especially if you're wanting to start to repurpose your content, this is a great avenue to start with. Swell, I have limited experience with, but it works very similarly. And I know a lot of other people in my industry really, really like this one. It works the same way. You upload a transcript, you upload a YouTube video, whatever that looks like, and it'll break it down for you. The biggest difference between Castmagic and Swell is that this actually takes clips. I don't know if it ever processed for me because I didn't pay for it, but it'll pull clips. So yeah, it pulls clips directly from the video for you. So you're not having to go through that process in Descript or manually or anything like that. It tells me this is a great clip for social media. Castmagic does not do that. But then it offers the same thing. A chat style prompt, like basically when you upload it, it's going to generate all this content for you. Twitter threads, TikTok captions, things like that. And if you are familiar with Notion, this uses Notion's AI. This is all built inside of Notion. It's really, really cool. And you can have all these different tabs for all the different content. And you can come in here and like, let's say, obviously these are instructions. You can delete this though. And there's your Facebook post. You can come in here and add and delete, whatever that looks like. It's really cool. These tools are really great, but I still find that I had to spend a lot of time in the editing process. So now, the third tool, and where I'm spilling the tea on my absolute favorite AI tool, we're taking it back to the OG, ChatGPT. Now, this isn't opening ChatGPT and typing, create content for me. No. We're approaching this completely differently. And truthfully, I absolutely hated using ChatGPT at first. I felt like the AI tool was so elementary. It would never give me the results I wanted. It always sounded like a robot wrote it, which because it is a robot writing it. But over the last 6 months or so, I keep coming back to ChatGPT and I keep learning more about how the platform works. And I'm investing a lot more time and energy and frankly, money into making sure that this tool works the way I need it to. Because I started to feel stagnant and limited with the other tools out there, I actually paid for and upgraded to ChatGPT 4.0 so that I could create a custom GPT specifically for my business, for my tone, for my voice, and for my strategy. Inside of my custom GPT, I've created certain instructions, added in my own prompts, so that when I go into ChatGPT, it is helping me repurpose my content in a way that I have never been able to do before in such a short amount of time. Here's a behind the scenes look at my custom GPT. So this is a part of my signature program called the content system. I have so many different instructions and prompts in here that makes it so much more curated for when I have an output. Like whenever I give it something, it's going to customize it in my tone, my voice, using my strategy and my process. So what it looks like to implement, we'll go back into here, into ChatGPT. You can see this is still relatively new to me. I've been building it over the last couple of months and really testing it out. But these are my latest 8 YouTube videos. Before, when I was using ChatGPT, I had custom prompts and things like that in here that would still help. I've created the custom GPT using ChatGPT 4.0. I do pay for this, but let me tell you what, it gives a far better result. I start a new chat for each and every hero piece of content for each and every YouTube video. And what I did initially is I just tell it, I'm working on a YouTube video concept. Can you help me write an outline? Now, it doesn't always, especially with outlining, I really like to have my hands on this process, but sometimes it helps me understand things that I might not be thinking of because I'm so stuck in my world sometimes. So it gave me a really good outline based on what I gave it. And this is my formula for scripting YouTube videos. Again, I customize that in my GPT. If you were to go and ask just a regular ChatGPT, hey, script me a YouTube video, it probably won't give it to you in this exact way. But knowing that it's following my formula, I personally didn't use this one because this one was such a highly customized piece of content, but it did a pretty good job. And then I actually asked it for, help me draft a 30-second intro for the video. Some of this I really liked. I used some of this copy when I created this video. But now here's the really cool part is now that this video is done, now it's created, what I can do is I can actually upload a file into here. Let me go ahead and grab it. This is the entire transcript from my YouTube video. And now I can take it, upload it into here, and use that to help me repurpose the content. So now that it's uploaded, I can say, can you draft a YouTube video description? And it should, based on like how I have the GPT set up, it's going to run this and it's going to do a pretty damn good job. And sometimes I might have a conversation with it back and forth. And while as much as I miss the tools like Castmagic or Swell, where I could just upload this and it will do it all for me and I don't have to do this chat style, I have noticed this is already giving me a far better output than I would have gotten from the other ones. Especially here, can you write 10 threads post? This one it always struggles with. This is one I'm still trying to figure out. ChatGPT is not very good at writing like thought leadership style content, but now it is pulling information directly from that file that I uploaded and it's going to use my tone, my voice, things like that. So now I have it structured in a way that each of the YouTube videos that I have has its own chat, its own tab, and I can go back and forth with the technology to help me repurpose that content. It still requires editing. Yes, it will always require editing because it's a robot and we are humans. And sometimes it takes a while to think. But just know that this is cutting down the process and saves me so much time. So if you want to try out any of these tools, I actually have them all linked in the description below. And if you want access to my custom GPT and how I actually use it to produce over 50 pieces of content a week, I actually give it to you inside of my signature course, the content system. And I also teach you the process of how to use it. You guys can head to the link in the description to join the waitlist for this program. I open doors a few times a year. Other than that, don't forget to hit subscribe and I will see you next week.